I am Akriti from DNA Growth. Our guest today is Dr. Nidhi Garg, an absolute powerhouse of talent. She's a counseling psychologist, a motivational speaker, a poet, and an aspiring author. We are so honored to have her here today. Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, Akriti. I'm good. What about you?
All good, all good. So tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and how did you venture into this space, the space of counseling psychology?
So, I started studying psychology when I was in my 11th. So, that is when the journey actually started that I chose 11 I chose psychology, and then in my graduation and the interest went on deeper and deeper because psychology is a science of behavior, and with every
Yeah,
person being so unique, it is with so many people I met, and with everyone it has been a different experience because the way they
yeah.
think, they talk, everything is different. So yeah, that's where the interest began, and then I thought of doing it further, so I did my master's in counseling psychology, and then my topic was
Yeah.
also on mental well-being. So that is actually when my journey actually started.
Yeah. Okay. So, you've had a long journey as a counseling psychologist, but when did you exactly feel that you wanted to branch out to, being a motivational speaker or a poet, and you also want to be an author? So, where did all those things come in?
So, as a psychologist, I started treating a lot of patients, a lot of clients, and as in when I used to meet so many people with all different kind of problems, and the one that is hitting everyone the most is anxiety, phobias, depression,
Yeah.
suicide, and lower motivation. You know what happens? Why do people venture into all these things, and why do these things creep up in their life? Because
Yeah.
there's lack of positivity, there's lack of
Yeah.
motivation, and I felt with motivation I can not only build one dream but so many dreams. And
Yeah.
why not? The more I feel, the more I reach out to people and the more people reach out to me,
Yeah.
I am growing not only individually but as a group. So many dreams getting fulfilled, so many people being
Yeah.
successful, and with every person's success, I feel that success. So yes, it was like that. That I always feel as and when I get calls from my patients and they are doing well and they are doing well in their. Uh, I treat a lot of students also
Yeah.
when they tell me they are doing well, they're getting good marks, and
Yeah.
professionally when people are doing well. So I feel not only their dreams are getting fulfilled,
Hmm.
but my dreams are also getting fulfilled. So I thought, why not reach out to more people?
Yeah. So that's a noble thought there. But is there any incident that you can recall at the moment that made you decide, okay, so I am a counseling psychologist, but I also want to motivate people? Any instance in particular?
Um, as I told you that there are so many patients who come to me,
Yeah.
and so there was this one patient who had lost hope in life, and he was doing engineering. He had
Okay.
completed engineering and he was in a job. So by the time he got into his job, he had already tried committing suicide 3 to 4 times. When he had
Okay.
come to me, he had already
Mhm.
made those attempts.
Yeah.
So, but after my sessions, he started doing well and he started feeling good. So, this
Yeah.
patient of mine had actually told me that, ma'am, you have motivated me in my
Yeah.
life. And today, if I'm alive, I am working
Yeah.
and I'm doing well in my life, it is only because of you. So, that
Yeah.
somewhere hit me, and I
Yeah.
got so touched that I felt when I can change so many lives, why should I just stick to lesser
True.
number of people? Because so many people need me, and I
True.
want to reach out to as many people as it
Yeah.
is possible for me.
Yeah.
So that is when I decided. And you know what happens when we do these motivational programs? I have worked with Rotary, I have worked with
Yeah.
Nalco, and all these corporate houses where people are doing 9 to 5 jobs, working,
Yeah.
slogging.
Dr. Garg, tell me, the conversation around mental health these days is quite prevalent. Do you think that we have reached that level where the taboo nowadays is not really associated with this term, or people are still skeptical of coming out and saying that they have some mental health issues? What do you think is the scenario?
So I do feel that the taboo is not as much as it was there in the past, but yes, it does exist. It's still there. And
Okay.
there are people who are brought to me by their friends or their family members, and uh, they also tell me that मैं पागल हूँ जो मैं यहाँ हूँ. So
Hmm.
that kind of a taboo still exists. I cannot say that it is not there at all.
Yeah.
But yes, to larger extent, people have started talking about it, want to come out, want to talk, want to get a solution, and that is a big leap, I guess.
Is there a particular age segment that is a little, they're still very shy of discussing mental health, or they have this belief that, oh no, this is not something that exists, or this straight away associated with being mental? Any particular age segment? Or is it prevalent all across, from a
It is
teenager?
prevalent all across. It is prevalent all across. That is what I would like to say, because every age group has their own problems and issues.
Okay.
So, if there is a relationship issues, it is probably something that starts from teens nowadays
Yeah.
to up to any age group, right?
Yeah.
And when it is education related, so it is till the time a person is studying.
Yeah.
Job related issues come once you start working.
Yeah.
Alzheimer and all, forgetting, all this is geriatric problems.
Yeah.
So there are some problems that can be an issue in any
Yeah.
age group, and there are problems that are specific to a certain age group. So
Yeah. All right.
so there are various kinds of problem.
Yeah, yeah. So if we talk of about depression and anxiety, these are a few terms that are used by almost every other person these days. More so used like a metaphor. Like my favorite
Hmm.
product is no longer available, so I'm depressed. So do you think the
Hmm.
intensity and the real connotation of the word is misguided these days? People don't understand it. What is it like?
Absolutely. I do feel that people have started misusing it, because it's just like I love you, I love my shoes, I love my dog.
Yeah,
So it is it is emoting the same love for a human being, for a dog, and for a shoe
yeah,
also.
yeah,
And I am depressed because I didn't get my good marks. I am depressed
yeah.
because someone passed away, or I am depressed because I couldn't get my favorite lipstick.
Yeah,
So yes, these are being used very abruptly, and losing its sensitivity and
yeah,
sensibility, is which is definitely affecting it overall, I feel.
yeah,
And people come up and say such things where I feel they might not need a support,
yeah,
and there are times when people need support and they are not able to reach out.
yeah, yeah. So, especially with teenagers, they sort of don't really understand the meaning of being anxious or depressed. They often confuse it with being sad. So, I'm sure that you get cases of all sorts and people who believe that they are depressed, but at some point they're only stressed. That is like acute stressful situations that they're going through. So, how do you distinguish between it, and how do you make them understand the difference between the two?
So depression is something, it is a disease, it's a
Yeah.
disorder, and uh, we have our directory where we have our symptoms that we have to check in a patient if they
Yeah.
have it or not, right? So some people fall under that category, some people do not fall under that
Yeah.
category. But yes, no one comes to us without a problem or without an issue,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So they need some kind of a help. That is
Yeah.
only when someone is reaching out to us.
Yeah.
Because obviously, no one in today's world has time to just come up and uh, would pay for being unhappy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so people come with very varied problems, I would say,
Yeah.
but not necessarily they have that particular disease, that they have phobia or they have anxiety,
Yeah.
but it could be a stress related problem, or
Yeah.
it could be a stressful situation that they are going through, and they need a professional support.
Yeah.
So that is when our role comes to play, and we are there to support them.
So, there are situations when you have a certain suggestion or you're trying to make your patient understand a particular scenario, and when they're not receptive to what you're saying, how do you deal with those situations? How do you find the middle ground with your patient?
See, we we are always there to help our patient take a decision about themselves.
Yeah.
We are never giving them decisions. We are
Okay.
always taking out the decision from them.
Yeah.
So we make them capable enough that they are able to take their own decision and they can own
Yeah.
their decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are facilitating them that they are
Okay.
able to
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
their decision. So we are not suggesting them something that they should do this in this situation or do that in that
Yeah.
situation. We rather put put it in a way where they are able to take their own decisions.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so th- so that is where our role comes into play, and they are able to take their own decisions, and when they make their own decisions they own them, and they would obviously want to do that because it
Yeah.
is their decision, it is not
Yes.
our decision.
I think overthinking is one thing that's like at the heart of all these problems. We tend to avoid so many things. We tend to overthink and make something into a completely different thing altogether, a mountain out of a
Hmm.
molehill. So, yeah, I think overthinking is something that if we start cutting out of our life, we'll be able to enjoy better, rejoice better, and have a happy life altogether. That's true.
Absolutely, Akriti.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you don't have to be always be an analyst or
True.
a
True.
CID. You can just be yourself and be happy
Yeah.
about what you have.
Yeah, so the key is
Anyway,
just
there
be
are a lot of
yourself
things
and
that are not under our control, and
yeah,
the things that are under our control, we are definitely working towards it.
true.